Greyhound racing is outdated and cruel and has no place in modern Scotland, according to campaigners. Calls for the sport to be banned have been stepped up after UK-wide figures showed that almost 1,000 dogs died within the racing industry last year.
Here's a summary of the article.
Greyhound racing is outdated and cruel and has no place in modern Scotland, according to campaigners. Calls for the sport to be banned have been stepped up after UK-wide figures showed that almost 1,000 dogs died within the racing industry last year. Greyhound racing is part of the multi-million-pound gambling industry and is watched by hundreds of thousands of people in Britain each year. Hundreds of other racing dogs at the end of their track career were put to sleep. The figures also showed that a total of 4,963 injuries were sustained by dogs within the greyhound racing industry last year. Shawfield in Glasgow is Scotland's only registered greyhound racing stadium. Gil Docherty, who organises a protest there every Saturday evening, told BBC Scotland's The 9 programme, "Greyhound racing is something that should be confined to the history books in Scotland and the UK. It's outdated, it's cruel and it's causing the deaths of thousands of dogs. We just feel like there is no place for it in our country anymore."
This post received a score of 13,567, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Is horse racing any better off in regards to animal cruelty? Genuine question, 'cause horses make their owners millions.
Can't speak for the entire industry, but the Santa Anita track near Los Angeles is getting a lot of pressure to shut down. They have had 79 racing events this season with 29 horse deaths. Wow, that sounds like a lot. I wonder if it is by the standards of the industry? There would be a lot of races in those 79 events, but still, that's over a death every third meet.
I used to work stables at a harness track in MI. That's devastatingly high. We had races from April to October, 3 nights a week, and a deadly or even retirement-worthy accident was rare enough that it would end a race night, and the drivers would generally be pretty sad about it. Training accidents happened, but again, rare enough to be noteworthy, though maybe more on the order of 2 to 3 a year. Last I heard he works a dead-end minimum wage job, and he's pretty much a pariah.
29 is actually below average for flat racing, however Santa Anita's problem is that they are at their average for the entire year and the year isn't even halfway over. The unnatural amount of rain earlier this year should have led to cancellations of races once the staff started noticing the uptick in deaths, but they delayed because they thought it would stop once the rain stopped. The horses are generally treated very well and are required to receive vet checks before racing. Whether the idea that using an animal for racing is right or not is a moral question that I'd leave up to the individual to decide. I personally don't see it as any different as using an animal for meat or eggs as long as the animal is treated fairly, but I'm not going to tell anyone else how to feel about it.
Jesus, what do you guys do to your beasts down there? One summer, I think '09, Hazel Park closed down for a month to do track inspections because they had 3 deaths in 1 year. The announcers called it a catastrophic year of misfortune. And that's what it ended up being, too, was just rotten luck. One horse had a defect in its heart no one noticed, one mare broke stride and came down on another's knee, and an equipment malfunction ended up as a broken neck. If we had 20-plus animals dying in a year, the tracks would have been shut down before I was old enough to work the stables.
How many races were you guys doing a year? How many horses were running in each race? SAW is one of the largest tracks in the United States, and their death toll is naturally going to be much higher than a smaller track, especially one that shares space with harness racing. That being said, there are huge issues at SAW as it stands. There's also the track itself in particular this year, and the fact that many horses weren't used to running on a wet track. Then there's medications and inconsistent vet care when not racing, plus racing animals when already injured, or prone to injury, etc.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.